A popular WWE star has left the company. We have an update on the AEW Trios titles, and there was a big return on WWE SmackDown. Stay tuned for the news. So we're kicking things off today with another surprising, I guess, exit from WWE.
Yeah.
News broke yesterday that Candice LeRae of NXT has left the company upon the expiration of her contract. Now, we've seen quite a few people leave recently. They've decided to not renew their contracts. Malcolm Bivens and Dakota Kai, most notably. I've got another name. It's a bit strange. What do you think, Sam?
Yeah, Candice was somebody when it was sort of announced she was going to be taking some time off, and it was sort of, the speculation immediately began because of WWE's policy toward injuries, where, if you become injured and the time gets tacked on, so if you're out for 9 months, it gets tacked on to the end of your contract, and it was like, well, is it the same for maternity? But it appears not.
It appears not. Fightful Select reporting that she is indeed a free agent, and she is able to work wherever she wants. Like most NXT deals, it's usually a 30-day, no compete clause, but her contract is done. As you said, they could have frozen her contract, and it seems like there was maybe some discussion about that. We reported previously that WWE could go that route, but it was really in her court, the decision on that one, and I'm not surprised that she didn't stick around. With Johnny Gargano, her husband, left back in December.
It was still something where I always thought I could kind of see Johnny going one of two ways, but right now, obviously, they're both seeming to just be focusing on family right now. But I think the in my head, at least, it was like, this is a couple that WWE are going to want to throw absolutely everything at to keep, because it's so popular with the fans.
They seem, they've worked really well in the way together. I thought that faction was one of the best things on NXT before
sure, around that time.
Before the reboot into NXT 2.0. She seems also someone like that would fit really well into NXT 2.0 out of most of the folk that transitioned over anyway. It's just crazy. She's been with the company since January 2018. Now, there's nothing to say she won't come back, as we speculated before. Johnny Gargano could return to the company. I just don't see it happening for a while now.
Yeah, I think with Johnny making it quite clear, I'm just being a dad right now, this might be it for a little while for the pair of them. But again, I equally wouldn't be surprised if they just showed up elsewhere, like on a whim next week or something.
Is there maybe Joker in the Owen Hart tournament that might be happening in a different company? Yeah. But I think we'll keep you updated on what the future holds for Candice LeRae. I'm still a bit shocked that she would leave, but it makes WWE 2K22 even more out of date already. There's so many stars in that game that have now left the company that Candice we can add to, Gargano we can add to.
We say this, every time, but it feels more and more apt. And there's another one we're going to talk about a little bit later. Again, feels just as apt as this, where there is absolutely no doubt that wherever Candice LeRae ends up,
she's going to be successful in it.
Sure.
She's just top talent, and she won. I'm still surprised she never won the women's championship.
Yeah, a little bit confusing, but I thought they were going to bite the bullet on that and really go for it, but I suppose, only time will tell. They may end up back in WWE. They may end up elsewhere.
Former tag team champion, but staying on the topic of tag team championships, we have an update on the AEW Trios titles. It's been speculated for some time that AEW has wanted to add tag titles for Trios. They've had so many. You've had You've got the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. You've got now the Undisputed Elite. You've got so many trios, the best friends.
Trios really started to come into fashion, around the time these were coming. I mean, I say come into fashion. It's obviously been around for a very long time. But in terms of, the AEW trios thing, it was very like, this would be very interesting, because I don't think WWE certainly hasn't had a trios.
No, I can't think of any sort of trios belts in WWE.
Like major American trios tag titles. There's none that really spring straight to mind.
No, I can't think of anything. So this is instantly. If you can think of any American company, maybe Chikara, have they had trios?
Maybe.
Let us know. Correct us.
Yes, please.
Please. Well, we're happy for the correction. But Dave Meltzer reports in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that trios belts have been made. And it's just a matter of time until the trigger gets pulled on that. He said Tony Khan was asked about making trios titles and gave the indication a few months ago that it was happening, but they didn't want the tournament to happen. until Kenny Omega gets back.
Which ties into what you were just talking about. I can see that being a very successful way to launch that division, if you will.
It's going to be the matches that could create some interesting matchups. Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah. Do you think it might be a little bit of overkill, though?
They do have a lot of belts, especially with the acquisition of Ring of Honor now.
Yeah.
And we've got the Ring of Honor tag titles, we've got the AEW tag titles, and a lot of the trios have kind of not been on TV the past wee while. They've kind of focused more on just the tag division. Could be overkill. I guess we'll have to wait and see, but they do have a big roster.
If any company can somehow make additional belts work, I think it's AEW.
They are very good at stuff. So thanks, Tony. Can you pass us some money, please?
Yes, please.
I really would like to see them. I just worry that the first design won't be good, and then they'll have to redo them.
Or it'll be slightly too small, and then there'll be a bigger one that pops up.
Whatever it would be, I'm looking forward to it. But staying with AEW, we've got their Forbidden Door pay-per-view coming up. It's not Premium Live, it is.
And it's not just theirs.
And it's not just theirs. It's also with New Japan Pro Wrestling. We've got that coming up in a couple weeks' time. And apparently the ticket sales have been doing really, really well, Sam. Do you want to tell me about it?
So the Wrestling Observer newsletter have reported that the AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door show, it's the second AEW show within a 30-day period that's going to top $1 million gate.
Wow.
So tickets sold out in 40 minutes. And I think we've already spoken about this. The only reason it took so long for the tickets to sell out, and I could see people going, you shill, you stop reporting the good news. But the only reason it took so long for them to sell out was simply because they were trying to defeat scalpers and they were releasing block by block by block. There was a pre-sale, which the pre-sale was almost immediately sold out.
Gone in an instant.
So it's one of those shows that I think it's just going to be huge. But it will be apparently around Double or Nothing in Vegas, which is about the $1.2 million range. And that's the second. So that's the second biggest show. And then the third biggest show in US history to not be produced by WWE looks like it's going to be Forbidden Door.
There's so much money, and the fact that AEW in its third year is able to do something of this size, obviously with New Japan's help. But New Japan sold out the Garden with Ring of Honor on a Super Show.
They did. It was an odd show, that one, though, because it was very sort of half and half, whereas this is going to be, I think the reason this has a lot more interest around it, because not that the New Japan Madison Square Garden show didn't have interest around it. It was certainly a lot of buzz with the ROH crossovers, everything could possibly be happening, but this feels like it's going to be a lot more tied together. It feels like this may lead to a developing relationship down the road, and we may see a closer relationship with New Japan and All Elite Wrestling.
We've said before,
forward.
with all the matches that they could see pitted against each other, as you said, the Ring of Honor one was very segmented. But it'll be very excited.
The reaction, apparently, as well, he went on to say that one person in the company noted to the Observer that they were very surprised at the results of the on sale. As noted, they didn't put that many tickets on sale at first, so they weren't expecting anything close to it. There were a lot of fans, apparently, who were sure that the show would sell out instantly, so it's not something that shocked everybody like the first All Out, but apparently it still had heads turning backstage like, what?
Like I guess it's the demand that they didn't expect, thinking, right, we're going to go and run an arena in Chicago, and they didn't maybe expect this many people to go, oh my God, we need to go, because it's
dream matches, though, just dream match after dream match, all the possibilities.
Maybe it's the fact that they might not know if New Japan's familiarity in the market in the US, but it's crazy. In hindsight, they really should have thought about a much bigger venue.
Well, there's always next time, isn't there?
That Forbidden Door too. Forbidden Windows. But they could. I would love to see a big
Forbidden Living Room.
Do it in the UK, please.
Well, I think we're going to get something from AEW in the UK before long. I think it's only a matter of time, especially with Clash at the Castle. I would still very much like, I don't know when I was talking about this, it might be on stream, but I would like Clash at the Castle to just tour different castle-based European destinations.
Because Castle,
niche markets, but yes, Newcastle,
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. There's loads of places you could do that. But I think if AEW, they've got the ties to Fulham. They could run, I think, a smaller scale stadium show therefore it's still a stadium
Still
show.
Stadium, but you're getting the people in.
And then you see how fast that sells and go from there. But
yeah, no, I'm very excited for the show, and they're gonna do well with the ticket sales regardless with that.
Oh, for sure.
But moving over to SmackDown for our final story at the moment, there was a big return, and it was after weeks and weeks of build-up and teasing. And teasing and teasing.
Was it, Fraser?
Who was it? It was Lacey Evans.
Yeah.
And she came out and she did a big wave and she showed her muscles. Oh, she was coming out there going, yes. Now, after weeks and weeks of build up, as she was recounting her life story, the ups and downs of her, and it was actually some really like tragic and
endearing
and heartbreaking
and
stuff in there.
and there's a lot.
So she has been teasing this for weeks. She finally made a return. The ring announcer goes, I want you all to stand up, pay your respects, and show the respect that she is owed, and stand up and give her a big round of applause. And she comes out, and she's no longer doing the sassy Southern Belle character. She's got a new one. She's just very military-esque.
Well, there was a time in NXT where Lacey was more military themed. In particular, there was one thing she used to do that I would always lose my mind at, because she would seamlessly roll into something where somebody would end up on the floor, and then she would just proceed to do press-ups on them like a taunt. It was just brutal.
That's a very good way to basically go, you're not as good as me.
Yeah.
I'm going to do press-ups
I'm going to hold you down and do press-ups on you.
Good way to pin.
Yeah,
She needs to bring that one in.
But I think, it's there's a natural thing here. We've had heel Lacey. We know Lacey's very capable of being a heel. We know Lacey's background. We know Lacey's been through a lot. They've really, really built this up and explained a lot of this. And I think it's time we maybe saw what Lacey is capable of on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a different way on this.
Yeah?
I feel like the way they presented this to the audience was that
was the thing. It felt a little bit like, hold on, where you going? I thought we were going to go the other way.
Right, it gave me very much shades of Jericho back in 2012, getting out the big pop, and everyone's like, oh my God, we're so happy to see you. And then it doesn't say anything, and Lacey Evans did the exact same thing. Comes out, goes, yes, you all love me now, and then disappeared. I think we're going to see a
more cerebral Lacey Evans.
Yeah, where she thinks she's this all-American hero like Kurt Angle.
Maybe one day we'll get the Lacey face run, or maybe she's just going to be a career heel.
Possibly. I mean, she's been off TV in a while. People might be missing her.
Well, this is it. It's been a while. We'll see where it goes, but yeah.
But that's all for our first news video. We will be back this afternoon with some more lovely news. In the meantime, you can go to cultaholic.com/cameo if you want either of us to wish you up for whatever reason, or for whatever reason, or you can get Adam to do, the dance. But you can go over to cultaholic.com/cameo for all that. Anything else, Simon?
No. We've got obviously all of the Backlash content coming up this weekend, all of the usual stuff that will be going out anyway. But on top of that, you've got live reactions, you've got what happened at, you're going to have WTF, all the usual pay-per-view content on top of the regular output. So
it's going to be a
lot
busy
of stuff
weekend.
going on.
Yeah. But until then, we will see you later.